So
Yeah.
as
I
much
mean,
as
yeah,
yeah,
we try our best to.
good. So we'll run through some bits. It's super nice. It's nothing, no heavy financial advice or requests or anything. But outside of me waffling on, can you give a little summary about what RT Accountants does, who you guys are,
Yeah.
what makes you a bit different to like any old accountant I could be using?
Yeah, no, totally. So my name's Ruben, and I run RT accounting with my business partner, who's also an accountant. He's been an accountant for about 20 years now, and I've been qualified for about 2 years. We decided to join up just because I had knowledge of the e-commerce space, and he has just general accounting knowledge that came with experience. I also have been doing FBA for about the past year or so, albeit not to the same scale as people here. But that does give us some advantages over traditional accountants because we know what the business model is like, we know how it works, and we also know where to get the reports that we need to do your tax return. Um, so yeah, but our main advantages over other accounting firms would be that, like I just mentioned, we are slightly more e-commerce based. We are accountants at the end of the day, but our focus is more towards e-commerce. And secondly, we are available a lot more, I would say,
Yeah,
just from feedback from clients. Weekdays, weekends doesn't have to be during the day. We will answer when we can, even if it's at night time, on a weekend, holidays, and stuff like that. So I think our clients really do appreciate how quick we respond. And so yeah, those two are the main selling points. And I'd say that we are also very competitively priced, especially for sellers who are VAT registered. I think we are the only accounting firm that I've heard of so far that charges under £1,000 for VAT registered sellers, but I'm sure people might have seen it. But yeah, that's from what I've seen anyway. But yeah, that's just a short introduction, and yeah, that's basically it.
that's much nicer than it's much better than how I sum it up. I just hit the main points. I think it's the main pain points that bother me. So it's nice to get an official
Yeah,
explanation. I think
yeah, no, definitely.
the having access to you guys. I know I send because our schedule's like 4 hours behind everyone. I'll send messages off to you. I don't know, early hours of the morning, like 4 3 a.m. And I'll either get a reply because for some reason you guys are still up, or I'll wake up to a reply. I don't have to arrange a phone call. I don't have to book in.
Yeah,
I've got that. Like I know
yeah,
Discord's such a nice platform for it because everything's in one place.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I don't wait until 9 o'clock to start work. As soon as I wake up, I check Discord to see any messages, then check emails and whatnot. So yeah, we're not just because we work from home, we're not really bound by when to start, when to finish, and it just makes things easier for people because most clients do this on the side. So that means that they might not have the time during normal office hours to contact
Yeah,
us or arrange a phone call and stuff. So we are more than happy to have a phone call with clients at night when they finish work or on the weekends when they're not as busy. And so, yeah, I think people do genuinely appreciate that we, have that availability, I guess. So, yeah.
yeah. I think it does mean a lot. Like when I before I finished proper employment, all we were doing there was no Amazon work was done 9 to 5, like you say. And if I was with a typical accountant, I'd be on lunch maybe trying to make a phone call. But
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
having that access is one of the stronger points. I will give you guys that. Whereas on the touch of fees, we used to previously to you guys, our accountant was based down in London. A real nice accountant recommended by a family friend who runs a few businesses. It's like these guys are good. The guy I knew wouldn't be into paying loads and loads of tax. The main thing, I want you guys to look after my tax. So I thought, okay, we'll go with these guys. When we went VAT registered, our annual tax return was just over 3,000 a year, an annual cost of 3,000 excluding VAT, and that was the point where I said we might need to look around. So
Yeah,
I think that was when we
yeah,
switched to you guys. The fees that we pay to you, I'm more than happy with. Not just because of like, oh, it's low fees, but the service we get. So we're paying for service and for that access, which means a lot.
Yeah, yeah, no, I appreciate that. I think a lot of old traditional accountants they charge based on the model of them having to spend their time sifting through receipts and then arranging calls and whatnot. But I think with people who do e-commerce, they are more tech savvy, so they can kind
Yeah.
of get the reports that we want quicker. They don't want to have to go in to speak to an accountant face to face and whatnot. So yeah, we do find that e-commerce sellers are easier to deal with just because they're more tech savvy. They kind of know what they want, and so yeah, it's cheaper because it just takes less of our time really. So yeah.
I suppose in a way it lets you guys not specialize because, like I say, we have a few different businesses that you guys deal with. But in terms of e-commerce, the most Amazon sellers will be the same. We all buy stock, we all send it to Amazon,
Yeah.
so you can refine that process down and say, oh, someone else has had this issue, the same issue that you're having. You might have experienced. Whereas I've tried. It took us about me and Michelle about 45 minutes to an hour to sit with our old accountant and explain FBA to him, and
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
so that's chaos in itself. So in terms of the services that you guys do, what would you say are some sort of the challenges that a seller and maybe a newer seller might face? Someone that's not considering the actual admin work, the actual business work that isn't just buying and selling stock, and
Yeah.
what can you commonly help people with when they're maybe getting started?
Mhm. Yeah, so I think the main things, if we were to talk as a limited company, it's more about how to not bookkeep, but how to kind of go about business. I think some sellers that join us, they do still use their personal bank account and stuff like that. They don't keep track of how much stock they transferred over when they switched from sole trader to limited company. So I think the biggest challenge is really people not knowing how to kind of keep it to one bank or limited to just business banks.
Yeah,
As a sole trader, you can use whatever banks you want. You can use your personal, Santander account, whatever. But when does come to a limited company, it is more strict. And I think that's the main challenge that sellers have, as well as kind of getting to grips with how the tax years work, because obviously it's different as opposed to personal tax year, which is the same for everyone, which is April to April. So yeah, some people kind of think, oh, I opened the company in February. Like, do I need to do a 2 month tax return from February to April? But it's kind of just getting into the rhythm of limited companies are they operate differently, and also just being wary of the VAT threshold, and just optimizing it as best as they can, really.
yeah. I think that's one of the things that we had issues with. Like you say, the start of getting into Amazon, running that little side hustle, is all good fun. You're seeing the numbers, you're seeing the profit, and not considering the the important side of it, the actual proper business work side of things. So
Mhm.
it's good to get on top of it nice and early. The VAT stuff, we managed to just we were sole trader, switched to limited company when we were just under the threshold. I think looking back, if we'd have switched that registered as soon as I don't want to say should have, but if we'd have been limited, I think we might not have been ready for it with the experience
Mhm.
and the support around us. So that's good. So in terms of VAT, do you guys have a process or what sort of support do you offer? Because we only went that registered middle of last year. So do you have any
Mhm.
sort of like onboarding? We weren't ready for it at all in terms of knowledge. We were ready in terms of business, but can you help
Yeah.
when that threshold is hit? Which it's a good thing and a bad thing. It means you're working your business well. The bad thing is you now have to
Yeah.
deal with it. Do you have a
Yeah.
system or a process to easily help sellers deal with that transition to being VAT registered?
Yeah, so clients usually reach out to us in advance. They don't really come up on the day and say, "Oh, by the way, I'm 90K now." I think most sellers are aware of this threshold, and leading up to it at 70, at 80, they will come up to us and say, "I probably will be VAT registered. So I will go past the threshold in 2 months' time. What's the deal with it? Like, what do I need to change with my pricing and sourcing methods?" So we do have a guide that we send them just to outline, this is when you cross the threshold, but this is actually when you become VAT registered. Because for people who aren't aware, you become VAT registered on the second month after you cross it. So, for example, if you crossed the VAT threshold in January, you would actually only start charging VAT on the 1st of March. So you would get January and February as a grace period of sorts. And some people, they don't realize that, and they think like, oh, I need to start charging VAT tomorrow or starting from next month. Um, so yeah, so we do have a guide for them that I've written out just because I think a lot of people were, rightfully so, asking the same questions. And I thought instead of me typing a paragraph out to them all the time, I'm just going to make a comprehensive guide. So we do send them that. It kind of explains, like I mentioned, the timeline, what we need from you to VAT register, what happens on the first day of VAT registration, and obviously the things to take into consideration, such as, you now have to pay VAT on your sales. So you might think about getting rid of any stock which won't be profitable when you take into account the VAT, and also, to try and change your sourcing methods if you're sourcing, low margin items, then you might have to kind of change the way that you do it, because if VAT gets involved, it might no longer become profitable.
Yeah.
So those are the things that we kind of advise on. So yeah.
Yeah, I think I know you guys sent that guide over to us, and I sat down with Michelle, went through it all. The way we source, we've been able to adjust quite well. It's been quite nice that we're still covering our profit and stuff, but I wouldn't have liked to have even attempted it without that guidance. If I said, okay, go on VAT registered, I'll figure it out, I think I would have thought we were okay. But then maybe 6 months down the line, we would have turned out not easy as that.
Yeah. I think there's so many caveats with VAT registration, such as claiming back on the inventory you held on the day that you went VAT registered, and claiming back on the services, stuff like that. People don't know it unless their accountant has told them, or sometimes we've had clients who have had accountants forgot to tell them to claim it, and that kind of just makes them lose money that they shouldn't have. But yeah, I think we do, before every VAT return, we do send out a warning, not a warning, just a notification to say, your VAT period is about to end at the end of this month. Please get, reconciliations ready, get the reports ready. So that, just because we don't really expect you to keep track of it, you focus on your business. We're here to remind you of, when your year is ending, when your VAT period is about to end and stuff. So when we do send you out that period, when we do send you out that notice, that your VAT period is about to end, we do offer like a phone call just to go over anything you're unsure of, or maybe go over the numbers, kind of talk through how you've gotten to your VAT bill. It's optional. Some clients want a call, some clients trust us to do it completely. But yeah, so some people do want a chat to go over it, why they've got this number. But yeah, we are more than happy to go over it, and obviously the calls are included in the price. So we're not like other accountants where we'll charge you per hour of our time and stuff like that. So, but yeah, clients do find that really helpful, that we can go over it with them as well.
Yeah, I think it's quite important to do that. Like, it's fine running business, but to get that understanding of how your business is actually doing, I think it I don't want to say someone would be silly not to, but from where we see it, if you say to me, okay, your VAT bill is X amount, for us to just pay it without understanding why we're paying it, it's not something that'd sit well with us, really.
Yeah.
In terms of putting the information together for like VAT bills, tax returns, stuff like that, there's so many different softwares available on the market. We transitioned probably only about 6 months ago to stop using a Google Sheet for all our sales and expenses and stuff. So is there any recommended, or do you guys say this is the software you must use, or are you guys flexible with what, like bookkeeping software? We use Link My Books. I don't know whether there's alternatives to Link My Books that can pull that information. But what works best for you guys to retrieve the data, if that makes sense?
Yeah, so if you did want to carry on just using Google Sheets, spreadsheets, we're fine with that. But I think the optimum setup, let's say, would be to have accounting software as well as a software that calculates the VAT from Amazon. So what I mean by that is, Accounting software such as Xero and QuickBooks, they're more generalized. They are more used for, let's say, you invoice someone something and they pay you that invoice exactly. Obviously, we know with Amazon, when you sell something on Amazon, you pay fees, you pay this, you pay that, and there's deferred payment and stuff like that. So Xero is not Zero's good for you to categorize the purchases that you're making so that we know how much VAT to claim back. But on the Amazon front, for example, if you sold something for £120, the payout comes to £60. Zero's going to think, oh, great, you've made a sale of £60. I'm going to allocate £10 of the £60 to your VAT that you need to pay.
Yeah.
So obviously it's incorrect because you've sold something for 120. The correct VAT amount you should be paying is £20. And that's where tools like Link My Books, or there's another one called A2X. So just 3 characters, A2X. So this is where they step in and they kind of work as a middleman between Xero or Link My Books to Amazon. So when a payout comes in to Xero, let's say for example, Link My Books or A2X, they'll say the reason this seller got a £400 payout is because they actually sold £800 worth of stuff. But because of these fees, these refunds, this is how they got to that payout. So if you wanted to get the ideal setup for accounting, I would say get Xero. I prefer Xero personally, just because I think it's a bit more user friendly, and Link My Books. So they kind of work together. Link My Books is only responsible for the sales part, which is from Amazon, and Xero will deal with your purchasing side. However, if you don't want to get Link My Books, because I do think they price based on the number of orders that you make a month, and you think it's a bit too expensive, that's fine as well. We do have clients who opt for just Xero or QuickBooks, and we get the sales report directly from Amazon. So we calculate it directly from the raw data that Amazon gives for what VAT they owe on sales. So yeah.
Oh, that's good. I think it's a good thing because I've tried to understand how our disbursements and stuff work, the amount of deductions and adjustments, and I had to stop checking the big adjustments to our balance table because there's so much to it, especially with the VAT on fees, VAT registered.
Yeah.
The number of changes in figures back and forth it's easier to just pay however much it costs a month for software to do it.
Yeah.
Like I know, fair play, people managing their own books, fair play to them. I wouldn't trust myself to give you guys the numbers to say, this is my exact business for the last quarter. There you go. Because I know what I'm like. And I also know that we need to do our reconciliation. Don't worry. So,
that's basically, it's good to keep on top of it just because it also gives you a good outline throughout the month or throughout the VAT period, rather, of how much VAT you owe. So instead of waiting for the accountant to do the VAT return, which is fine, if you want to kind of prepare in advance to say, oh, how much money should I put away for the VAT this VAT period, you can, if you've reconciled everything on Xero up to date, you will be able to see on a day-by-day basis. And same for your profit and loss as well. So it is good having tools like that, to be honest, just to kind of stay on top of things.
Yeah, I suppose I didn't think of that. We've got tools like Seller Toolkit and stuff that give insight to how your business is doing that way. I suppose using Link My Books or using Xero to forecast your big outgoings, because it's going to come, your VAT bill, your tax bill, everything's coming, to get an idea ahead of time of roughly what it should be. I think that could be a big help to stop nasty surprises coming.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But yeah, so I agree. I think it's just easier to kind of use software. I mean, it's up to clients. We don't charge extra to do it manually. But yeah, it's up to them.
Yeah. Oh, it's good. I wouldn't dream of doing it manually. We did it a while ago where we had to turn all of our actual receipts digital because we didn't have the transaction information anywhere online. Not again. I wouldn't. I can't imagine the work that it takes from you guys to do it. without being the actual business. No.
Yeah.
So in terms of if someone is either looking to switch accountants like what we did, we got 3 limited companies for transparency, 3 businesses all dealt with by RT accountants. They're our go-to, all 3 fully managed, all hands off by us. If someone's either looking to switch accountants or is still dragging out, if they're maybe 6 months into the business and they're still thinking, I don't need an accountant yet, I don't need it. If someone wants a chat or wants to get started with you guys, what would that process look like, and how can they reach out to have a chat?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. So we do have a website, so it's www.rtaccounting.co.uk. We do have a very good Trustpilot page, if I do say so myself. I think we're at 100 5-star reviews. I think we just hit the 100 like last week or something.
That's good.
So yeah, you can find us on there or on Discord. If you click on my name, you will be able to see all my the server information for our accounting, as well as the link to the website. So, and then if they did want to switch, or if they're contemplating about getting an accountant, I would say in terms of getting an accountant, if you're a sole trader, you might not need one. I mean, I always say they HMRC lets people do their own self-assessment because it's kind of one of those where it's not too difficult. However, if you are someone who has a 9 to 5 job, and then you're kind of thinking, wait, how do I calculate what tax bracket I'm gonna have to pay for my sole trader profits and stuff like that, or just thinking about what are expenses that I might not know. That's when an accountant would come in. I always say, if we're not going to try and rob people of their money, if they want to do a self-assessment themselves, completely fine, they can. However, when it does come to a limited company, it is a bit more challenging because, to my knowledge, you do need specialist accounting software to submit the tax returns for a limited company. And so yeah, so for a limited company, there's not really a way around getting an accountant. But at the same time, I don't. Yeah. So, but if you do want to switch, then it's very easy. So you'll just have to let us know, let your current accountants know, and we would reach out to them for information. But in terms of speaking to us, just getting a quote, seeking some second opinions, even if you've already got a current accountant, we're more than happy to do that. We won't charge for it unless it's takes hours. But a quick call, something like that, more than happy to do it for free, even just for some quick advice. We offer it all the time. Or if you don't want to call, just open a ticket in our Discord, and we're more than happy to help. As long as it doesn't take up too much time. So yeah.
Oh, that's good to know. Like I say, we don't have any plans on moving accountants. We took all the effort moving away from other accountants. Well, you guys took the effort. We didn't really do anything. The thing that swayed it for me was that access to you guys. That's the bottom line for me, was being able to message or give you a quick call even before I was a client. Being able to, like, within SourceSheets, you guys have got your own channel where if I need actual financial advice, even if I'm not a client, I can put a little message in there and get a response from someone educated and trained in financial issues. Whereas the other option would be me Googling, which is a dangerous rabbit hole to go down. So I can't recommend enough. I know we've recommended a few users through SourceSheets that have gone on to you guys, and I've not heard anyone say a bad word yet. So you guys are doing something right. If there's people we've referred on to you guys who have contacted us to say thank you for the referral, and they've came back to us multiple times to just say this is really nice, really easy, good support, everything in place. And it's one of them things where to just hand it off, well, no, we're being dealt with nicely. I know when we were dealing with our accountant down south, it was very, very official. I know tax is official stuff, but when we're having a call or a chat, it's not. It is business, but it's not straight. It's just a chat. And I think that takes a lot of pressure off to not just be bosh, 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 heavy constantly. So I'll let you go. Everything's there that you need to know. Whether you don't have an accountant, whether you're looking for switch accountants, personally can't recommend RT and the guys enough. The support we get, the care throughout, and the stuff that we don't have to deal with is a game changer in our business. So if you've got any other words, you can add them now. If not, I'll let you go.
No, yeah, just thanks for giving us the platform, and I appreciate the referrals, and yeah, hopefully we keep on doing a great job, which we should be able to. Don't see why we wouldn't be able to. But yeah, just going back onto your point, I do find that people are more comfortable when they talk more casually. Instead of starting an email with, hi, good morning, hope you're doing well, and then ending it with, oh, yours sincerely, stuff like that. It's a lot more casual. Discord, WhatsApp. If any, yeah, we don't even have that many clients who communicate to us via email, to be honest. It's a lot of it is either WhatsApp, text, or Discord, just because I prefer it. I don't like speaking formally, wording things, and whatnot. I like to just say it, easy, get it done, and then you get the advice that you need without having to kind of read in between the lines of the formal messaging and stuff like that. So, but yeah, I'm glad that you enjoy that part as well, because yeah, I just prefer speaking in a informal tone, to be honest.
Yeah. There's no one we deal with that requires business. I spent about 5 to 6 years building up to get out of, because I used to work for NHS, all sorts of different guys. I worked so hard to get out of the environment where it was kind regards and reference and stuff that I don't intend to do it now. It's every part of our business is as serious as we take it. We run a hard business, but none of the relationships we have with anyone is hard business, if that makes sense. Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Right, I'll let you go. This is what I'll do. We'll waffle on. Thank you for spending your time with us. Hopefully people get some value out of it, and hopefully you guys will get in touch. Get signed up. Easy as that.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And thank you for giving me your time this evening as well. But yeah, thank you. And hopefully I'll speak to you soon.
Oh, you will. I'm sure we'll be in touch.
All right. Cheers.
See you
Have a
now.
good one.